1905, a fleet of Russian warships had been sailing for 7 months. They had traveled over 18,000 nautical miles from the Baltic Sea, around the coast of Africa, across the Indian Ocean, past the shores of Southeast Asia. Their destination, Vladivostok, their mission to save the Russian Empire from humiliation. When they finally reached the waters between Japan and Korea, they were exhausted. Their hulls were fouled with seaweed. Their crews were sick with tropical diseases. Their admiral had stopped speaking to anyone, and waiting for them in the straits was the Japanese Navy. What happened next would be called by historians the greatest naval battle of the modern era. But what most people don't know, what the history books often leave out, is that the Battle of Tsushima wasn't just a battle. It was a death sentence, not just for the Russian fleet, but for the Tsar himself. By the time the smoke cleared, only 3 Russian ships would reach Vladivostok. 38 others were sunk, captured, or scattered across the ocean floor. More than 5,000 Russian sailors were dead. But here's the thing, that wasn't the end of the war. The Russian army was still fighting in Manchuria. The Trans-Siberian Railway was still running. So why did Russia surrender? And why did a Japanese victory in 1905 set the stage for Pearl Harbor, the Russian Revolution, and both world wars? Stay with us, because the truth behind this forgotten war reveals something terrifying about how history really works. To understand the Russo-Japanese War, you have to understand one thing. In 1904, nobody believed Japan could win. Russia was a giant, the 3rd largest empire in history. Its army had defeated Napoleon. Its navy was one of the largest in the world. When Tsar Nicholas II looked at Japan, he saw a small island nation that had only emerged from feudalism 30 years earlier. But here's what the Tsar didn't see. Since the Meiji Restoration in 1868, Japan had been modernizing at a pace the world had never seen. They built railways, modern factories, a Western-style army, and they built a navy with British help that was becoming one of the most sophisticated in the world. The flashpoint was Port Arthur, a deep-water port on the Liaodong Peninsula in modern-day China. Russia had leased it from China and was turning it into an invincible fortress. From Port Arthur, Russia could project power across the Yellow Sea. It could threaten Korea, which Japan considered its backyard, and eventually Japan itself. Japan gave Russia an ultimatum: leave Manchuria or face war. Russia's Tsar Nicholas II didn't even bother to reply. On February 8, 1904, Japanese destroyers launched a surprise torpedo attack on the Russian fleet anchored at Port Arthur. The war had begun. The first year of the war was brutal and largely invisible to the Western world. The Japanese army laid siege to Port Arthur, but the fortress lived up to its reputation. Russian soldiers dug into hillsides, built concrete bunkers, and filled the approaches with barbed wire and landmines. The Japanese attacked again and again. At the Battle of Nanshan Hill, Japanese forces lost nearly 5,000 men, capturing a position held by 3,800 Russians. At Port Arthur itself, the casualties were even worse. Entire Japanese divisions were wiped out in frontal assaults on Russian machine gun positions. By late 1904, Japan had lost over 50,000 men trying to take Port Arthur. The siege dragged on for 5 months. Japanese Commander General Nogi, who had been retired, living as a gentleman farmer before the war, lost 2 of his own sons in the fighting. But here's what Western newspapers didn't report. The Russian defenders were suffering just as badly. Scurvy, dysentery, and starvation were killing more soldiers than Japanese bullets. And the Russian commander in Port Arthur was making decisions that, in hindsight, look almost deliberately self-destructive. When Port Arthur finally surrendered in January 1905, the world was stunned. An Asian power had captured a European fortress, but the real shock was still coming. Even before Port Arthur fell, Russia had made a desperate decision. In October 1904, Tsar Nicholas II ordered the Baltic Fleet, renamed the 2nd Pacific Squadron, to sail halfway around the world and destroy the Japanese Navy. The commander was Admiral Zinovy Petrovich Rozhestvensky, one of the most experienced naval officers in Russia. What happened next is one of the strangest episodes in naval history. The fleet set out from St. Petersburg. 7 months later, it still hadn't reached the Far East. Along the way, everything went wrong. In the North Sea, lookouts spotted small boats in the fog and panicked. They thought they were Japanese torpedo boats. They opened fire. The small boats turned out to be British fishing trawlers. The incident killed 3 British fishermen and nearly brought Britain, which was allied with Japan, into the war. The fleet limped down the coast of Africa, then across the Indian Ocean. The ships were outdated, poorly maintained, and overcrowded. The crew had been at sea for so long that morale had collapsed. Officers quarreled openly. Sailors talked of mutiny, and Rotem, the admiral, stopped speaking to his own staff. He conducted all operations alone, refusing to delegate even the most basic decisions. Historians still debate why. Some say he was exhausted. Others believe he knew what was coming. By the time the Russian fleet reached the Tsushima Strait in May 1905, the Japanese had been waiting for them for months. May 27, 1905, the Tsushima Strait between Japan and Korea. Admiral Togo Heihachiro, Japan's commander, had one advantage that Rotem didn't. His fleet was ready. When the Russian ships appeared, Togo did something that naval strategists had never seen before. Instead of forming a battle line parallel to the Russians, he ordered his fleet to turn directly across their path in what became known as crossing the T. It was a suicidal maneuver if the Russians had better gunners, but they didn't. For the next 12 hours, Japanese guns pounded the Russian fleet. Japanese shells were more accurate. Japanese ships were faster. Japanese crews were rested. By nightfall, the Russian flagship had been sunk. Rotem was wounded, unconscious, and captured. What remained of the Russian fleet scattered into the darkness, but the Japanese weren't done. Throughout the night, Japanese destroyers hunted the fleeing Russian ships. By dawn, the battle was over. Of 38 Russian ships, only 3 reached Vladivostok. 15 were sunk. 11 were captured. 5 fled to neutral ports, where they were interned. More than 5,000 Russian sailors were dead. Another 6,000 were prisoners of war. The Japanese lost 3 torpedo boats. Tsushima was the most decisive naval victory since Trafalgar, and its consequences rippled far beyond the waters of the strait. First, it ended the war. The Russian army was still fighting in Manchuria, but the destruction of the fleet made continued resistance pointless. Russia sued for peace. Second, it shocked the world. For the first time in modern history, an Asian power had defeated a European empire. The message was clear. The old order was ending. Third, and this is what most history books miss, it triggered the Russian Revolution of 1905. When the news of Tsushima reached St. Petersburg, it was the final blow. The Russian people had already endured a year of military defeats, economic collapse, and political repression. Now they knew the truth. The Tsar was leading them to disaster. Within months, strikes paralyzed Russian cities. Peasant uprisings swept the countryside. Sailors mutinied on the battleship Potemkin. Tsar Nicholas II was forced to grant civil liberties and create an elected parliament, the Duma, or risk being overthrown. But the revolution was suppressed. The Tsar held on, and that delay, those 12 years between Tsushima and 1917, would have consequences no one could have predicted. The Russo-Japanese War is often called World War Zero, and for good reason. The Japanese victory in 1905 convinced military planners in Berlin that Russia was weak. 8 years later, Germany would test that weakness and plunge Europe into the First World War. The peace treaty that ended the war was mediated by President Theodore Roosevelt. It was the first time an American president had brokered a global peace, but the settlement also created tensions between Japan and the United States that would simmer for decades until they exploded at Pearl Harbor in 1941. And Russia? The Tsar survived 1905, but the wounds never healed. 12 years later, when Russia was broken by the First World War, the revolution that should have happened in 1905 finally came. Tsushima was the first crack in the Russian Empire. 1917 was when it shattered. A single naval battle, 18,000 miles, 38 ships, 5,000 dead, and the world would never be the same. You watching Timeless Realms, and this has been the war that changed everything.